I watched a video today, and I got some note. I wrote down some notes, and this video is by our new friend Henry Draper in his YouTube presentation. Now he says, "Your soul is not the real you. It is just your vehicle for gaining experience within the matrix." Well, I decided to differ with some of his terminology. So I find fault with the wording, "Your soul is not the real you." And I would rather say your physical body is not the real you, but rather a vehicle for gaining experience within the matrix. I want to think that the appellation soul in the religious and spiritual scriptures of the world is different from the physical body and designates the uncreated you, but it is still not aware until it takes the risk to perceive, recognize, and know more. And that talking about your soul, as often said in religious circles, is erroneous. This error is very rampant. So what can you say about this, Duane?
Kids say the funniest things, don't they?
Sorry?
Kids say the funniest things.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Kelsey has a lot of videos that are funny, a little kooky and whatever, but kids say the funniest things. So I'm just grateful. And Anton, he's rather radical with his videos, which is great. And so, everybody's throwing their mixture in. I get that. I see this. And so I'm just grateful that people are sharing something. And so it's kind of like kids. It's kind of like Ava learning English, and I call it baby talk. And I really like it. And many times the foreigners come on, if it's the Asians or the whoever, they have their own accent, or they say, well, I can't speak English very well. I'm a little embarrassed to speak or whatever. I say, it's fine. Please just talk, because I love to hear it. It's really fun. Ava and I go back and forth with what she says. And so all of us, at least, we're attempting, and we use these phrases, if it's soul or God or whatever. Some of the people that are in the new presentation, they still use the idea of God. And I'm fine with it. I really don't care. I'm not a policeman. I'm not here to define people. I figure eventually they'll get it. They'll wake up to it. But in the meantime, this is what they're doing, and it's all okay. So again, the literal mind, we have that. And yes, I'd rather see it a little more so. But at the same time, everybody's, at least people are doing it. And so that's what I see. And it's like a child learning to walk. At least they're starting to walk. They're trying to do it. And myself too. I'm going through this world, and trying to figure out, constantly having the challenge. And I like the challenge. I'm fine with any of it. The challenge of figuring out what's going on with this world. And sometimes it's like, oops, I said that, or oops, I said that, and I overreacted, etc. That's the personal self. I have that too, and it happens. And but it's okay. I'll figure it out. I'll get back on track, etc. And sometimes I'm very adamant about certain things, because enough's enough. Enough nonsense in this area, and let's get going here. Otherwise, we won't get going on anything. So let's do something that accomplishes something. And so I think what the kids are doing is great, and what they're saying, however they say it. Elmer Fudd talks funny in the cartoon, so again, however they say it, it's fine. They'll get it, and but they're constantly at it, which is so cool. And so, yeah, Charles, however you see it too, that's fine also. Yes, thank you for asking.
Okay then, thank you. Ernestine?
Yeah,
Yeah, hello,
yeah, I'm
Ernestine.
here. Yes.
Yeah, I think you have rested enough. Now I want to hear your voice.
Well, I don't have anything to say. Yeah, I don't have any question anymore.
Oh, okay. Uh, I remember your dream where you organized. You were at a concert, and you were uh,
Okay.
a musical concert, and you were the organizer um, on the real side. So, what steps are you taking physically to realize that?
Like, what do you mean? What steps? I don't understand. Explain.
Yeah, I mean, your dream you told me about about doing a concert
Yeah.
on the real side. Uh,
Yeah. Okay.
was it a children's concert?
Yeah. No, it was grown up. Yes, we're grown up people. Yeah. Yeah.
Grown up people.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
yeah. So, do you think that concert is a reflection of what you would do here on?
Yeah. I think maybe because last week, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I asked the Ray guy that I wanted to be part of the New You on the Ray side. So I was saying it every now when I finish to sing the New You. So I was saying it. That's why I have that dream about doing a concert. And I also have another dream where I was trying to build a a big place back in Cameroon. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll be having dreams. I'll be very busy. All these dreams be very busy. I told you about it. Yeah. All these dreams.
uh,
Yeah. I'm always busy doing something. Yeah. On the Ray side.
you're building a house, or what were you building back in Cameroon?
I just went to that dream is like I went to my village. I started looking at the land like now my village we are like big land. So I started tell to my mom that I want to build. I wanted to build something here. Like I started showing all like big yard. It was a big yard. Yes, that's what I was saying to my mom. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know if
Yeah,
it's a
so
part of a dream or that's showing me things what to do in real life. Yeah. Because I asked them, I wanted to be part of the new you, and then I asked them.
you're already part of the new you, which means you want to you you want to
Yeah, like
effectively step up.
I have to help. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Help, contribute. Yeah, yeah. That's it. Yeah.
So is it possible you organize some concerts there in London?
Cause I'm living in Manchester. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm in Manchester.
Manchester.
Yeah, I'm not in London.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
I'm not. It's just like
I think
little ideas. So I'm seeing yes. Any idea
yeah,
I'm
because
thinking about it.
if we didn't talk like this, you would have forgotten about your dreams. You had asked the real guides to that you want to be part of. You want to be active. You want to step up. And I think
Yes.
yeah, I think you should hook up with Kelsey because you can easily catch Kelsey's disease if it is a disease. Yes, Kelsey will show you how the infection comes very easily.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
no
that
problem.
it's yeah, I think it's a good request that you made to the real guides. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
all. Yeah.
Duane.
Thank you for reminding me. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. I just thought about your dream and the concert dream. So I thought I should ask you what what are your plans? To actuate that dream and activate it on the physical. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Charles, this is Bob from California. I have a couple of dreams I'd like to share.
Oh, good, Bob. Go on.
Okay, I'm fairly new to this, to New You. I've always kind of had difficulty remembering my dreams, and I've been singing the New You for about 2 weeks now, and asking Rebazar and the real guys to take me on a journey to the real side. And just last night I had 2 dreams that seem kind of significant. I'm not sure what they mean, Duane, but I'll share them. The first one, I always had trouble with my father, my personal self in this lifetime. And I had a dream where I was with my cousin Daniel, and we were going to my father's house, and I climbed into bed and got under the covers with him and 3 other people. And I looked at my father and I said, "You know that we're all slaves here and everything about our lives is being controlled." And he told me that I'm effing crazy. And he just gave me a look of disdain like he used to do when he was alive. And I told him, I don't think there's ever been a time when you have ever admitted the possibility that you might be wrong about something. And again, he told me I was effing crazy and gave me that look of disdain. And I got out of bed and I walked out of the house. That was my first dream. Then I had a dream which was similar to some science fiction movies that I've seen, one of them called The 100. And I saw myself walking up a ramp with a bunch of normal people. And the ramp was curving and was about 3 or 4 stories high. And all of a sudden, we're in this gigantic room with these beings that look like people from afar, but when you got close to them, their eyes looked dead. They were expressionless. They had no emotions. And people were taking money out of their pocket, handing them to these beings, and then walking away with them. And all of a sudden, the room was cleared. I have some money out that I took out of my pocket, but there's nobody left except me. And that was the end of my dream. So that was it.
Yeah, that's one for Freud, isn't it? Yeah.
Wayne Freud.
Yeah, those things are interesting. So the first one, of course, it's self-evident. And also, you climbed in bed, what did you say, with your cousin or whatever?
My cousin and 2 other people and my father.
Right. So again, the idea is that you're all in the same bed together. Okay. A lot of your experiences go off of old sayings, you see. And it's like the old saying, you made your bed, or you sleep in your bed, you made it, or whatever, all these things relate, etc. And so in the real side experience, things are demonstrated. So you're all lying there together. You're asking your father. He's giving you the same answer. See, that's you. I would say that's part of your literal mind looking for agreement. And again, now you have that view, like watching a movie. It's your real side experiences are like watching a movie, just like what is being presented here, where people are in the movie theater. They're seeing their lives objectively, or they're seeing something objectively. Now you decide if you want to go with that, but now you start to see how your mind and literal side works as opposed to your real awareness, because you always make the choice. So the scene is demonstrating something kind of like, is this what you want to keep agreeing to? See, unconsciously, even though the surface part of you has changed or whatever, left your path and what have you, we've talked about this, the emotional attachments can still be there, you see? And this is what you're also seeing. So this is where the real you decides, to be part of that or not. So again, when you're in bed with them, it's like, it's in bed with strange fellows or whatever, strange people, etc. Because again, you look at the attitude of these people. For the most part, I would guess that the other people in bed, your cousin, whatever, they probably agree or disagree with your dad, so they're sleeping in the same bed. So agreement and disagreement are along the same line. So, but you decide now, you have that view, you decide what you're going to do, you see?
Thank you.
Yeah, you decide. So you see that, you were raised with that, and we all have those things, and it doesn't matter, it's all the same thing. Now you've come to the point where you can truly, through your whole being, decide your life, and you don't have to carry those emotional attachments. See, again, maybe you don't agree, but you have the emotional attachment not to agree, you see?
Right.
Yeah. Now you're seeing it. And now you decide, do you want that? Do you want to be attached to this individual that's so-called your father? Or do you want to let him go and let him just go on his journey and you go on yours? It's like, I'm out of here. You decide, you see?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very subtle. So we go through that, and you'll still have meetings and whatever, etc. Because again, there are relationships there. Hey, nobody's going anywhere. We all know each other, and it's all okay. It's all okay, But when you become so involved with this reality, with the real guides, that eventually, as you start to see how you become more aware, you will just let everything be. It's okay. They'll still always be there, and it can be to where eventually you're a real guide. And it'll be lifetimes from now where you'll see this individual again, because you'll always know them, but they won't remember you, and they'll have forgotten that they were the dad and all those attitudes. But now all of a sudden they're coming to you and asking you, how do I free myself? You see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you. And what do you see about that other dream where I saw these emotionless beings that were being paid to go off with people, but it didn't happen for me?
I would say those are the drive-through people at In-N-Out Burger. That's one way to look at it, yes. You ought to try their French fries. They're really bad. People are paid for things that they really don't want, but they're just not aware enough to even react to it. So again, there's many movies out called The Walking Dead. Well, we're living it. This is what it is. You're seeing people, and you're seeing them from the real side. But when you see them out here, they seem okay because they're animated. Everything here is animation. It's just a better quality of animation than cartoons or anything else or drawings. But you're really seeing what's really taking place in society on the real side, and how people are just giving themselves over, you might say. The idea of the monetary system seems to have value as an example, but really what it's doing, it's cleverly stealing people's labor is what it's doing. Yeah. Yeah, so that becomes the difference. Again, the American Indians didn't have money. They didn't steal each other's labor, but the very fact that people chase money and use it and misuse it or whatever they do with it actually steals the labor of others. So you earn money, and at the same time, the people that print the money, etc., they want it from you. They want taxes and whatever. Why would they want taxes when they're making the money? It doesn't seem to make sense. Well, yes, it does, because they're stealing your labor, and you are unconsciously agreeing to them. So again, what you're seeing on the real side there is you're seeing what people keep agreeing to, and they're really like dead. And so, it's not this animated world. When you wake up, it's like, oh, I'm glad I'm back here. Thank God there's a God, and it was just a dream. Well, it wasn't a dream. You are in the matrix, so you figure it out. Yes, and thank you for sharing. That's great. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Duane.
Yeah.
I had an experience where It would appear people on the other side of life, people who have translated on the astral plane, now on the astral plane. Uh, they will also have an affinity for bonding with us on the physical. Yeah, so that this not this unwillingness to let go is both ways. It can affect people on the on this level of life, the physical, and even those on the astral have not let go of their attachments to their families or friends and all the like. So, what do you think about that? Because I had a dream. In fact, this dream was until I got up. I got to answer to actually put down my phone because my brother, who is also deceased, who is also living on the astral, he 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 gave me a phone call. It was so it was so real life. It's like was like in real life that I actually picked up my phone and I answered the call. And then he told me that he was calling on behalf of my mother, that my mother has a message that he wanted to relay to me. And I asked him what was the message. So he said that my mother says I should provide transportation fare for her to come. And so I mumbled something like that. Then the contents of the dream made me now to wake up. So as I wake up, I wanted to put the phone on the bedside cupboard. Then I realized that I was sleeping. So I want just to say that by this fact that it is not only the people on the earth who don't want to let go of those who have crossed over the other side. Those there, they also have this affinity, this bonding, this desire for to re-establish contact with us, and they want to come back, maybe into the same family or the same circumstances that they left or something like that. So, what does Duane say about this?
No, it's very true. You're recognizing what's going on. Also, your conversation with the cell phone, again, in the real side, you don't need cell phones, but the cell phone represents communication from a distance, doesn't it? So there is a distance between you and your brother who is on the real side. And so that's what the cell phone represents. And the message from your mother, well, that's whatever that is. Whatever that pertains to, best, etc. And so the real you, now that message can be this or that, you would know that is, and the real you already recognizes that. So this is where sometimes we say funny things on the real side, and then we come back into the physical and we go, and I've done it myself, it's like, whoa, I'd never say that, or what did I say there, you see, because it's in reference to the real side and what's taking place there, and brings it through to the personal self to recognize something or not. Again, the lesson will come around many different ways. So the emotional attachment, yes, I've seen it many times. When my so-called parents, my mother and father, left here, I was totally indifferent and detached because, again, I utilized what I had learned. And this is where, when, especially people in religion, they so-called believe in this afterlife. They want to they believe in their gods. They want to go to their heavens. They believe in this. Jesus will make a happy place for you. But then all of a sudden, someone in their life dies, especially if it's their children. That's a toughie. And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, why did God do this? Whatever. So again, they're not really following what they so-called believe. Well, from what I've learned, and that is that there is no death. It's just simply, stepping in another room and just, letting the physical body be what it does. It just, goes back to the dust, you might say. I utilized what I had learned, and I did this with the people I knew and the relationships, etc. I saw them as okay. But again, the personal self starts to take on these emotional ideas, and this is where we have what we call, funerals. And they're really kind of ridiculous. Yeah, we can go say goodbye, but it's so long and drawn out that they've even become parties, and there's still a lot of emotional attachment involved. And this is because people don't have the understanding of what's really taking place. They've been misinformed. They've been taught a distorted education. And again, this is where the after-death promise of life and being saved and going to heaven comes in. It's like, you got to die to figure it out. Well, even when a person does leave this arena, they still haven't figured it out. I've seen people like that too. They're still in the twilight zone, and that's to be purposely done. So, yeah, this is where what we're providing makes sense if people want to make sense of it. But many people come to us and you and others and say, well, I don't believe that. And when you point to the sky and say those are chemtrails poisoning us, people can just simply say, I don't believe that. Okay, the government wouldn't do that to us. You see, so people, each person decides their experience, and we have ourselves many times said no. I've said no to many experiences. Then later on, it's like, oops, I better pay attention here. So that's how life is, and life does see us from the whole. How does life see us? Well, at each given moment, we can decide to stand real with it, and then everything's okay. It's very interesting. This is actually where there's no karma. Okay, it's not about making up your karma. It's about there really is no karma, because as soon as you recognize this reality and start to stand real with it, well, all of a sudden, that stuff no longer exists. But what does exist is those things that are needed for you to, confront, to recognize, to better recognize the all is with. That's really what it becomes. But yes, we have situations in our physical body, and that many times we want them remedied. Well, that becomes the challenge too, and the motivation. So it's many factors, but exactly what you're implying. Many people are emotionally attached, and that's a decision they make. And just like Bob's experience here, that too, it's still showing that there's a part of him, there, but he can decide to get up and walk away at any time and not agree with that, because these ideas, because we've grown up with them, we had these relationships, and in our own way, hey, we loved our parents, even though they may have beaten us or whatever, but we still loved them, and there's still that relationship there. And so, but we decide to be real with it. In other words, you can still be with a person, but you don't have to interfere with yourself with these ideas anymore. You don't have to carry these ideas. You just see them, and you might say you respect their free will. They're making the choice. You don't have to become involved. You don't have to involve yourself. But again, it's a lot for people to give that up because they're afraid, because they think, well, then they'll just go away and they won't like me, or whatever the idea is. No, it's not that at all. Actually, they'll probably see a lot better, but you got to take the risk. But yes, the emotional attachment is a big thing, and we see it all over the world. And you can't take that away from people. They must decide that for themselves, or they don't. They stay with it. They stay the same. Yes, Charles, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Duane. I think with that, I've ended my contribution for today.
It's terrific. No, thank you. Why don't we just, we know you're tired and this is long too. This stuff wears me out too a little bit. It's a drill every day, but I love it because every day it gets a little better and better because people are stepping up. They're doing something. Hey, whatever everybody's doing is fine. I just want to say that right now our focus is with the homeschool, the university, the concerts, etc., what we're doing with taking the classes and whatever, because that all leads up to all of this. This is why we're doing it. So those of you that have the time to step up, it is appreciated simply because this is the focus now. It's kind of like being in the military. It's like, hey, get up, everybody, wake up. We're going on a march, and this is where we're going. And so those people that are still sleeping and left behind, well, they're going to have to figure it out, or they're going to be put into the POW, whatever situation, whatever it takes. The thing is that everybody does it themselves, but this is our focus right now because it all leads through into the Vessel Project, and it's a lot. So we appreciate people stepping up, and what you've contributed, Charles, it all adds to it. So it's survival on this planet too, and as we support each other, it becomes a better survival because it's a struggle enough as it is. And so, we're not using the law of silence here. We're using the law of sharing. And so, again, it's really not a law, but the reality of sharing, I will say, and that is that because it's very important, people need to know so that they're okay. And if they don't want to be okay, they don't have to listen. They can go in their room and be silent if they want. So, yes, thank you for sharing. And